Given how enormous this threat is, how limited our resources are, how should we approach this security challenge?
Yeah, see, if you go to Aero India 2021, we witnessed enormous talent available in public sector. I would not say enormous, but there is significant talent available in the public sector and the private sector, but it is in silos. We need a mechanism to harness this energies, harness this talent into a finished product, and a faster transformation of those prototypes and their deployment. And I'm aware that it is possible if some immediate measures are taken. Second part is we need to invest more on R&D. If I am aware of R&D initiatives of many countries where they are looking at technological solutions, and the way to do is allow more R&D in the public sector as well as in the private sector. Like in case of China, you can do number of R&D projects, and they flew last year about 1.4 million drone hours, and they have 3 lakh operators operating, and that is giving
how
them
many
the
drone
power.
Operators would we have? Not in the civilian sector, in the armed forces, like in the Air Force. How many trained drone operators would we have, you think?
They will be in barely thousands and less than tens of thousands. So the more technology proliferation and research and development, especially in the private sector, you give them an enabling environment and they can do wonders. The next part is more involvement and integration, because police is not tuned to this kind of threat, though they have been facing this off and on, but having a air defense orientation, they need to do more than what they are doing. And the fourth thing is the way the bomb threats India face. Now, I think there is a time that police to establish a mechanism for people to become their eyes and ears, because whatever happens, the societies know who's an outsider. Invariably, these are the people, their suspicious movement can be transformed. So we need to look at some of these innovative measures.
Okay, Anshuman Tripathi, given the scope of the challenge, the limitations of our resources, how should we prioritize? I like the thought that Group Captain Augustine made, where he says that focus as much on offensive capabilities rather than having defensive mechanisms placed at multiple targets, because you simply don't know what the terrorist is thinking and where he wants to attack.
Rahul, I think in my personal opinion, once again, the solution is a multi-pronged approach. To just the point that Group Captain Narang just made, I'm sure the forces have a lot more people who are trained on drones. The ones he's specifically talking about are on the combat drones, which are larger in size and are the military grade. If we come down to smaller drones, then I'm not so sure we have only that many few people in the forces. Even all over the country, we have a lot of people who can understand drones, who play with drones, and we have a full...
No, but a civilian drone operator is not available to you for a military offensive or defensive purpose. The armed forces need to build their own capabilities, as is the case with cyber warfare, for example.
Exactly, and we are working on that portion. I'm sure the government has got positions in place for doing that. But as you asked me specifically, there's a multi-pronged approach that would be going on. And one of the points that we talked about, as Group Captain Augustine said, these smaller drones are not, cannot be seen. One point that all our panelists have missed out are eagles. If you see countries like the Netherlands and France, they have actually trained eagles to actually spot small drones, these small commercial grade micro drones. And they have been really effective in many places.
No, eagles and, meaning real eagles? Like the bird eagles?
Real eagles, absolutely.
But how effective are those eagles, and what if they're sleeping at that time, for example? Sorry, that's a silly question, but that could happen.
Well, so then we come back to the point, there's nothing is completely sure shot. We have probabilities, as we all talked about. But eagles have been trained, and just like for handling the problem with the monkeys, we brought in a langur. We can actually have these trained eagles who can do a lot better job, because they are up
Group
in
Captain Augustine is shaking his head. He doesn't think that banking on eagles is a very smart thing to do. Surely there has to be a better way to take on the terrorists than to bank on an eagle being awake at that time to spot the drone that's coming in. Group Captain Augustine.
So, three quick points, if you permit me, Rahul, is anti-drone or anything to counter any threat. Yes, because the drone threat has now really started becoming bigger and bigger. You have to have three solid pillars. First pillar is policy. Second pillar is organization. And third pillar is technology. We are only talking about technology. No, a technology with a wrong policy or a bad organization can end up like what Beka Valley. You know, they had a highly mobile SAM. They put it in a pillbox and got hit by Israelis. So that is because wrong policies. So policy, technology, and organization, all three have to grow together, so that what happens that, let me take it a little further. Policy will dictate at some point that, see, we are woefully short on technology. Now is the time to up the ante, maybe go a little more offensive. Now the technology is here, okay, let's come down on a little more offensive. Now who takes that decision? The organizational structure takes that decision.